Ahoy hoy! I am Planarwalk, and welcome to a debate between me and FTFE. And let me switch over to the... Actually, I'm just gonna switch to this tab first, so we've got some nice pictures going of people in a cult, and I feel like that would be... There we go.
I'm getting audio feedback from you.
Audio feedback?
I'm hearing the stream through your end.
Oh, really? I'm actually not sure why that would be. Are you sure you don't have my stream up?
No, I've got it muted.
Okay, because I shouldn't... Because I shouldn't have anything coming through...
No, I've just shut down all my windows. I'm just getting it from you.
That is very, very strange. Because that shouldn't be happening. I've got voice... What if I just switch to... Give me a second, I'll just go user settings so that it doesn't do that, or at least it shouldn't do that. And hopefully I can fix it by next time. There we go. Does that fix everything?
Let me see. No, I'm still hearing it, like the stream playing back through your audio.
Through my audio, you sure?
Yeah.
Because that shouldn't be happening. I've literally got it set so that it should only be my mic.
I don't It's definitely not from my end.
Okay, like... When I go silent, does it appear as... Does it show my box?
Okay, it seems to have gone away now. And I can just hear you once. That was weird.
Okay. That is definitely strange.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, with technical issues out of the way, it wouldn't be a live stream if we didn't have technical issues. So with technical issues out of the way, this debate will be on the subject of whether Flat Earth is a cult or not. I currently hold the stance that Flat Earth isn't a cult, or at least the majority of Flat Earth isn't a cult. I could probably admit that something like Nathan Oakley's Circle is probably a cult, but I don't think that a part of Flat Earth applies to the entirety of Flat Earth. And I also think that when it comes to Flat Earth, there are most definitely cult-like aspects to it. And yeah. So, I think we'll go with a bit of an... Do you want to go with an opening statement, or how are we going to do this?
Well, you just give your argument first, and then I'll give mine.
Okay, so when it comes to my argument, I don't think that when it comes to cult definitions that we can use the colloquial definition, like that's a hard word to pronounce, of a cult, which is a system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. As I said in my video that I made on the subject, that can be applied to pretty much any fandom, and it's not useful. Like, I've seen some fandoms which they have very religious devotion to a particular game or series. You know, you got fandoms like fandom of Marvel Comics or something, which is very devoted towards Marvel Comics, and I don't think that's useful when discussing cults, because a lot of people would be in a cult using that. I think the better version to use is Stephen Hassan's bite model, and which has 4 different aspects: behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotion control. And that can go ahead and break down whether something is a cult, and it actually gives insight into whether something is detrimental to the people that believe in the cult. So, for example, under behavior control, you've got things like dictate where and with whom you live, exploit you financially. There's also information control using things like gaslight you to make you doubt your own memory. All those kinds of things which are definitely harmful, and when you go through a lot of these things, you can determine whether a group is a cult or whether they just have some cult-like tendencies. And yeah, so that's my argument, and we'll probably go into the bite model when a bit more in depth when we have the back and forth.
Okay. So the reason I say that Flat Earth is a cult is because I think it is detrimental to the people that follow it, that believe in it. It can ruin lives. One of the biggest memories that I have is when Team Skeptic was debating a guy on the Non Sequitur show, and the guy had been kicked out by his family, lost his house, and was literally doing the debate out of a storage unit because his beliefs in Flat Earth had ruined his life. And I think that's dangerous, obviously. And then you got things like Mad Mike. You know, his devotion to Flat Earth was such that he ended up killing himself. That's extremely dangerous. The way that Nathan Thompson behaves, literally, being a child predator to try and force his views on people. The way that he acts towards other people, because he seems to get this sense of entitlement out because he is the one that is in the right and has, this God-given ability to say that if you believe in the globe, then you're lying to kids. And then it's also to do with the way that it controls the way that people think. To be a flat earther, you have to believe that everybody is lying to you. It instills a way of thinking upon you that also forces this mistrust of society in general. And that's an extremely dangerous thing to have. Now, like any kind of religion or cult, there's different sects of flat earth, but I think every sect of flat earth is dangerous to the people that believe in it. And that's why I believe that it's a cult. And it doesn't meet all of the criteria in the bite model, because the bite model talks about things like rape and murder and stuff like that. And I don't think anything meets all the criteria in the bite model. But when we look at the bite model, especially in the behavior control side and the emotional side, I think it ticks enough of the boxes to be considered a cult. It's dangerous. It forces you to believe in stupid things and dangerous things. It forces you to mistrust society and only get your information from the one place, and that is the flat earth. And that's why I say that it's a cult. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to dispute that it can definitely be dangerous. I think it's been shown that it can. I'm just disputing whether it's a cult or not. So, yeah. I do think that there are definitely more dangerous things to believe in than flat earth, like anti-vax. But, that's not really the subject of the debate, so... anyway...
But, do you not agree that it holds true that it's detrimental to the people that believe in it? In not necessarily just a psychological way, but sometimes in a physical way?
Yeah, I'd say that it's definitely detrimental. I think that it's more detrimental in a psychological way than a physical way, but then there are definitely cases where believing in it has been detrimental in a physical way. I'm not too sure whether Mad Mike Hughes is a good example to bring up, because it is disputed whether he actually believed in it or not, and that he was a daredevil before being a flat earther.
I'll agree with that to a degree, but it doesn't change the fact that he portrayed himself as a flat earther, and he portrayed the missions that he was doing in his rocket as for the flat earth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, speculation aside, if we want to take someone on their word, and that is that he was doing that for Flat Earth. So in my eyes, Flat Earth and the people that push the Flat Earth, like Mark Sargent, Nathan Oakley, Nathan Thompson, are directly responsible for his death.
But when it comes to the other example that you brought up, the guy on the Non Sequitur show, then we can say that yes, that is a good example there, because he was kicked out because he believed in Flat Earth. Anyway, let's get on to the bite model. I think would be a good jumping off point.
Yeah, I think the bite model is kind of the standard, what people use to decide if something is a cult. It certainly helps you understand the mentality of what is behind a cult. Yeah. And I think, if anything, that it's the information control that Flat Earth ticks the most of the boxes of.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that. So I think that the first thing that we should go through is behavior control, then information control, in the standard in the standard way. I'm just going to type this out. All right, so behavior control. The first point there is promote dependence and obedience. I don't think that it ticks that box, because I'm not convinced that that it promotes dependence. Like, there are certain levels of obedience that it might promote, but not dependence.
See, I would disagree in some cases. Some people are so devoted to Flat Earth that it's almost like a drug to them. I mean, do you think Nathan Thompson could go a day without shouting at someone that we're not on a spinning pair? I think that he physically couldn't do it. I think something in people like Nathan Thompson, the Flat Earth has become a dependency. I don't think it would be for everybody, but for let's look, Nathan Oakley, for instance. Now, whether Nathan Oakley believes in Flat Earth or not, he has a dependency on Flat Earth for a living, for everything that he does, right? I mean, does that not tick the box of it having a dependency in some ways?
But then you've got to distinguish between being... it's like any religious leader or any leader of something, they are dependent on it, on their... like any grifter is dependent on their grift for income. And this would be basically saying, well, anyone that leads a company has a dependency on their company. I think that when it comes to these things, it needs to apply to the majority of Flat Earthers to actually so that we can actually consider Flat Earth a cult.
Well, I think I would argue that a lot of Flat Earthers have a dependency on Flat Earth, because it is so much about who they are. That's what it becomes. There are different levels, and it won't apply to everybody. But I think once you are in with the Flat Earth, it becomes a dependency, because so much of it then revolves around what you believe and what you want to tell people and stuff. It's a difficult one to go over, and I don't think you can 100% say it, but I do think in a lot of the cases it can become a dependence thing. Yeah.
I suppose it depends how we're defining dependency, because I would agree that, like, for a lot of people, it might be a dependence thing, but like I'm trying to work out how we're actually defining dependency here. Like, are we defining it as impulsiveness or?
Bull. Okay, well, think of it like
Lads,
this.
I emailed both of you about
say there's
collaborating.
a natural
If you don't
observation
respond,
in the sky.
I'll cry.
Now, a normal logical person will research why that's happening, but a flat earther will, say they see, the comet that's been in the sky recently. A flat earther will look for the flat earth for the answer for that. They will depend on the knowledge that flat earth has given them to explain the observation that they've seen. Rather than going with the majority view and the scientific knowledge that we have about what the comet actually is, they will go, well, actually no, because the flat Earth says it could be this. So I think it's a dependency on many levels, because in some ways they depend on the flat Earth to explain things that could be explained in another way.
But that's very much like saying that a scientist depends on the scientific method or is obedient towards the scientific method. I don't think that's really...
Well, I think I disagree with that because the scientific method is a guideline, isn't it? Really, whereas the flat Earth is, I think I don't think there's any other way to define it other than a doctrine, especially the way that it's pushed, and it's not about having a guideline. The people that want to believe in the flat Earth will try to find answers that fit with their narrative. Flat Earthers will always twist facts and observations to try and fit their narrative. They'll always take quotes out of context to try and fit their narrative because they are dependent upon, for instance, the things that Einstein says. They will twist it to be positive towards the flat Earth because they're dependent on the flat Earth being the answer.
I think that when it comes to promoting dependence, a better way to a better sort of version to use of dependence would be dependence when it comes to promoting dependence. I think it's dependence on your life or something important in your life depends on you believing in the flat Earth, and I'm not convinced that that is being promoted in flat Earth circles.
Again, I think it depends on the person. We could look at Nathan Thompson, and I think his life very much depends on promoting the flat Earth. Like I said, I honestly don't think that he could go a day without screaming at some kids or telling somebody about how the Earth is flat and we've all been lied to by NASA. Maybe it's a hierarchy thing. Maybe the hierarchy depend on it, and then they try to push that downwards, but I honestly do think that once you are a flat earther, you depend on the flat Earth for so much of your personality, your identity, that it becomes almost like a drug. And that's why I say that I think it is a dependency.
We could, because we do need to eventually come to an agreement on this, because I think that we could... what's that?
I think it's a grey area,
Yes,
and it does depend on the definition of dependence that you're using. But for me, it goes back to how much of the flat earther's life is taken up by flat Earth, and when everyone's lying to you, then all the information comes from flat Earth, and they're dependent on it.
I think we could say that. I think the closest we're going to get to agreeing is going with the hierarchical thing. So sometimes it is depending on how high up in the chain of command you are, I guess. As to whether, and I think we should give it a sometimes. So that would be half a point on the scale that I was using in.
Okay. We can go with that.
All right. So I'll go sometimes, and well, actually, I'll just go 0.5, and that way. Okay.
And just to respond to someone in the chat that said, "Oh, I hope this isn't a sign of debunkers turning on each other." No, it's not. We can have a friendly conversation and not hate each other because we're not flat earthers that don't understand how conversations work.
Yeah, like one of the things that I forgot to mention right at the start is this is like quite often when I go ahead and have debates with flat earthers, you'll have the flat earthers just shouting at me, or even with you, the flat earther will try and shout at you, and then you'll start shouting at the flat earther. And sometimes I get a bit of irritable with flat earthers. But this is going to be a cordial conversation. No shouting, no swearing, unless it somehow turns into it. I don't know what could make it turn into that, because But
well, if you'd actually used the eagles to take the ring to Mordor instead of having to walk all the way, you'd been. Oh wait, sorry, that was the other Hobbit. My bad.
Anyway, on to the next point. Modify behavior with rewards and punishments. You see, I don't think that this is the case. I don't think that there's any
See, now, I think we have to look at the age we live in, right? What counts as a reward these days? Now, I want to look at Seek Truth, Speak Truth, because when he was a flat earther and he did a couple of videos on flat earth, and Eric Dubay commented on his video, that was euphoric for him. That was such a massive reward, right? So for some flat earthers that are that deep in it, just the being noticed by one of the big names flat earthers can be a reward for them.
But then then that's really I think that's starting to stretch the definitions of rewards and modifying behavior, because when it comes to modifying behavior, generally I'd say that refers to when you're modifying someone's behavior in a way to get them to behave a certain way. So it might be that you want to modify I'm just trying to work out how to put this. So it could be that... Hold up. Give me a few seconds.
Okay.
So it could be that you want them to wear certain clothes or have certain... partake in certain rituals. And if someone doesn't partake in a ritual or doesn't wear certain clothes, then you'd punish them for that. Whereas if they do, then you'd reward them for that. I don't see any evidence of that particular thing happening.
So I would disagree with that, because I want to use Nathan Oakley as an example. At the start of every one of his shows, he's got the whole, housekeeping, right? Where he has to go through all the things, any scientific evidence for the radius of the Earth, any scientific evidence for gravity, and you've all got to sit there. Everyone on the panel's got to sit there. Yes, Nathan. No, Nathan. 3 bags full, Nathan. Right. But the second you dissent from that, you're ostracized. You're chucked out. You're punished. Right. Jose, JG Gonzalez. The second he said he wasn't a flat earther, he was treated hideously. Ranty, still a flat earther, but as soon as he disagreed with Nathan and the way that Nathan ran his show, he was punished. You're not allowed on the channel anymore. You're not one of the good guys like Quantum Eraser and Sleeping Warrior doing what they're told. I think there is a lot of controlling behavior with rewards and punishment, mainly because of the way that society works these days. I mean, you could say that going on Reddit and getting some gold is a reward, but getting a downvote is a punishment. Yeah. And I think they use the way that society is these days and the way that people act and online life that we lead to force and influence over them through saying, right, if you're good, you can get to come on the show and be part of the panel and things like that.
Well, what I might do is, because I might make it so I might put a separate thing for Nathan's group, because I don't think that Nathan's group necessarily applies to all flat earthers. Because I think that when it comes to Nathan's group, we could classify Nathan's group as a cult, but I don't necessarily think that we can classify all flat earthers as a cult at the same time. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, but I do want to say that if you want to be part of the big flat earthers, then you definitely have to act in a certain way. I mean, you can be just one of the Facebook, keyboard warrior trolls, but you're never going to get to come on to Nathan Oakley's show or onto any of the Flat Earth streams or be recognized by any of the big Flat Earthers if you don't act in a certain way.
Yeah, well, there's certain things, but I don't think that when it comes to recognition, I don't think that that's necessarily a reward. Like hell, I've been recognised by Mark Sargent. I don't, and if I were a flat earther, yeah, that might seem like a reward, but honestly, it really depends on what is a reward to you. I think it's more of I think we.
So I'm trying to get a particular one up. Here we go. All right, that's what I wanted. So when JM was debating on my channel against Reds, Bob came into the chat and was like, "Oh no, JM isn't the person that should be, he isn't saying the right things. He isn't towing the line. And I think that's an evidence of controlling with rewards and punishment. JM is another flat earther who's been totally ostracized by the flat earth group because he didn't toe the line. He didn't follow the rules.
That comment I don't think is I think that's one of them things which is it doesn't really show any rewards or punishments in there. I think it's trying to get them to do something like it's basically say, JM should get out. But I don't necessarily think that I don't think it necessarily meets the criteria.
I mean, I say it does. In general, because to be part of the flat earthers, to be part of the flat earth group, you have to act in a certain way, and it is all about rewarding with positive interactions and things like that. And there's been plenty of flat earthers that have been punished because they haven't been doing the things that they're supposed to do.
Well, that would go to a later point. That would be an example of a later point, which is shower you with praise and attention, also known as love bombing.
Yeah.
I think that would
Radicals, be... Yeah. Radicals just said it in a good way. It's a form of social control based on punishment, based on a punishment reward system. That sounds pretty accurate to me.
I think that... So I'm just going through the examples. Like, you've brought the example of Globebusters, right?
Yeah.
On the subject of JM Truth. That seems to be more of a thing of, hey, this person is embarrassing us. So it'd be like if, I don't know, we had... I'm trying to think of a particular person who's like a... I'm trying to think of a stupid person that
Any flat earther?
No, like it'd be like if we had Kent Hovind. You know how Kent Hovind can be quite an idiot at times. Imagine if we had him in the debunking community. Would basically be like, oh, okay, this person is kind of bad for the debunking community because he makes bad arguments. That would be a kind of thing.
Yeah, but with JM,
think
the reason I showed that one thing about JM, it was just to emphasize a point, and that is that JM has been punished by the flat Earth community. He's been marked with a red flag because he didn't toe the line. He didn't say and do the things that he was supposed to do. And he has been punished. And I think if it had gone the other way, if he had become a very popular flat earther and actually had been good at debating and stuff, then I think he would have been rewarded by Bob and Jeranism and that let into the inner circle a bit more. I honestly do think that much of the behavior of flat earthers is controlled by a social version of a punishment and reward system.
I think... Yeah, I can see that, but another thing that we need to consider is because one of the huge points is whether it applies to certain types of flat earthers, or whether it applies to all the flat earthers. When it comes to, as I said, like the reason why I'm differentiating between Nathan's group and between all flat earthers is because Nathan's group is definitely far more cult-like than a general flat earther. In fact, when it comes to general flat earthers, I think that a lot of these things can't apply to them because they're not recognized a whole lot by the bigger flat earthers. So, for example, when it comes to things like there's a few in here which there's a few in here I can't remember exactly which ones. Like use information gained in confession sessions against you. That can't be applied to most of the general flat earthers because most of the general flat earthers aren't able to talk with the higher ups, in the flat Earth community because
but there is always chances to interact with them, and they've all got their groups and their discords and everything. And I think when you look at flat Earth, you can tell the groups, right? If you get someone coming along going, the globe's the affirmative claim, show me water sticking to a spinning ball. He's been watching Dell. If you come along trying to argue about the scientific method, he's been listening to Quantum Erasure and Sleeping Warrior on Nathan Oakley's show. If you've got someone talking about density and buoyancy, they've been listening to Eric Dubé's 200 Proofs. And when they push those particular narratives, they get rewarded by the groups that are part of that. And I even see this on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. You've got the groups on Facebook that are all follow particular flat earthers. And if they say something that's out of line with what that particular flat earth push is, then they get jumped on even by other flat earthers. Okay. So I think even within flat earth, I think there's mini cults within flat earth that kind of, go off against each other. But I think so much of flat earth is actually based on controlling the way that you feel by trying to make you be part of something. A lot of flat earthers say they feel lost until they find flat earth. It's something that's given them purpose and meaning. And I mean, is that not exactly what reward and punishment is all about?
Yeah, I think that the bringing up the thing on Facebook was a good example, and I've put a one there for to say that satisfies that criteria, because what I'm trying to look for here is whether flat earth in general is a cult, and when it comes to like a general flat earther, like I think it's very easy to point to if a flat earther who a flat earther like Nathan Oakley, a flat earther like Nathan Thompson, a flat earther like Nathan Roberts, and go, because of this person's behavior, flat earth is a cult. But I think that doesn't necessarily apply to the flat earthers that you don't necessarily see there. But when it comes to a Facebook group, that's definitely a good example.
Yeah, I mean, like, for instance, Nathan Thompson's Facebook group, even if you go in there as a flat earther and you say something that isn't to Nathan Thompson's liking, you're going to get banned and chucked out. I mean, I got banned from there just because I said I would like to have a discussion about gravity with someone. And I got banned, and I was messaged by one of the moderators, and the reason was, oh, you'll just get torn apart in there. You're not even allowed to be part of the conversation if you're not saying the right things.
Yeah. Okay, so on to the next point, which is dictate where and with whom you live. Now, I don't think that this applies. I've seen no examples of this.
I think you're probably right on the grand scheme of things. It doesn't apply.
Yeah.
But I certainly think there is examples of it's forced a life choice on people. I mean, let's face it, Nathan Thompson doesn't have a home. Yeah, and that's because of his belief on flat earth. So in a way, flat earth has dictated the fact that he has to couch surf and stuff, and the guy that I spoke about earlier that Team Skeptic debated, he lost his life, his family and his home because of flat earth. So I think in that case, flat earth was the thing that dictated his particular life situation. But on the whole, no. I think you can have, you could have a family with one member being a flat earther and that not be a massive issue in the grand scheme of things, So I don't think it applies.
Another point I want to bring up is that I don't think we can use that example as something, because if I were to just say, let's say I got a job in America or something, just say I got a job at Activision or whatever, right? Then
you'd be my hero.
But let's say I got a job at Activision, then I'd have to move. What?
Give me a code for Overwatch 2.
Then I'd have to move to a place where I can work close to the company, right? Or work at the company. I don't think that having to move because of a certain lifestyle choice, because I chose to be a because I chose to be a code or whatever would satisfy this.
I agree.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think in general that's something that applies to Flat Earth, even the majority of Flat Earth. I do think there is some individual cases that you could say possibly apply for that, but overall, no, it doesn't meet the criteria. You're right.
Yeah. Anyway, next point is restrict or control sexuality.
Well, there's no way Nathan Thompson's ever had sex. I wouldn't touch that with someone else's large pole.
Well, let's hope that stays that way, actually.
Yeah, please don't let him breathe. No, again, I don't think this is something that is I'm sure there's homosexual flat earthers. I'm sure there's bi flat earthers, transgender flat earthers, or whatever. I don't think, although there is, I think I would say a large amount of flat earthers that are probably anti-homosexual and stuff.
Yeah,
because you tend to find that flat earthers are horrific people.
Yeah,
I think a lot of flat earthers wouldn't accept a gay flat earther.
But I'll have to actually refer to Flat Out Hero here, if you remember that guy, because I had some great chats with him. Now he wasn't so on board with transgenders, even though I explained, like if you were to have sex with a transgender person, you probably wouldn't. Like for me, if I were to have sex with a transgender person or transsexual person that had actually fully transitioned, and I didn't realize until like a few days after, like even if I did realize beforehand, and I got, I wouldn't be like questioning my sexuality or anything. But like the way that Flat Earth Hero talked about it, it seemed as though Flat Earth had no control over over what his sexuality was. It's just that he was straight, and he didn't feel as though he had to have sex with like a certain he didn't feel as though he couldn't be gay or something. Yeah,
no, I don't think there's any rules in Flat Earth. I don't think that you'd find Mark Sargent or Nathan Oakley or anyone going, no, you can't be gay and be a flat earther. So no, I don't think it restricts or controls sexuality, but there's definitely an element of negativity towards the LGBTQ, community in general from the flat earthers. But you'd also find that they're anti-Semites, they're the anti-school shootings. They say they're fake and 9/11 and stuff. They're just generally horrific people. So I think that just comes along with that. But no, there's nothing in Flat Earth that says you can't be gay.
Yeah, I think it's often because a lot of them believe in the Bible, and when you're a Bible literalist, it has some pretty horrific things about gay people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've said this many times that if God is real, there's only one way to convince that he is real for me. He needs to turn up at my door, introduce himself, perform a miracle, and then what's going to happen is we're fighting and I'm throwing the first punch.
Okay. All right.
I think I can have a 0 there.
Yeah. Next thing is control clothing and hairstyle. Now, I said this in the video, I don't think that the fact that Anthony Riley and J.M. Truth wore what looked like a lab coat but sometimes might have been a chef outfit is enough to give a...
Right. Tell me one time you've seen Nathan Thompson wearing an item of clothing that isn't related to Flat Earth. You can't, can you?
True, but I think that's more of... I think that's more of the fact that when it comes to...
No. It's certainly not like, Midnight Cult or something where you've all got to wear white robes and drink the Kool-Aid as the thing goes over it. No, it's certainly not like that. No, I don't think that this even really has anything to do with the discussion of Flat Earth. Other than Flat Earthers sell merch, but then so do you and I. So, you know.
And, I'll often wear my own merch. In fact, I think I've shown you... Yeah, I have shown you the t-shirt that I'm working on.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be wearing
Oh, no.
wearing it because.
Sorry, that was supposed to be a timeout, not a hide.
Okay.
No, sorry. He was making anti-homosexual comments, so I figured that deserved a timeout at least.
Yeah. It took a few seconds for it to come up for me for some reason. But yeah. Anyway, the next one is regulate what and how much you eat and drink.
Well, we saw Nathan Thompson cooking his dinner in the back garden with a flamethrower, didn't we?
I didn't actually see that one. You're going to have to show me afterwards.
The big pile of dog shit that he set fire to?
Oh, okay.
For some reason, he'd collected all of Geo's turds and put it in one of his friend's back gardens and then set fire to it with a flamethrower. I just assumed he was cooking his dinner, but...
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but that's an interesting take on it. I will admit that there are some people that are breatharians in the Flat Earth community, but I think that's more of breatharianism rather than Flat Eartherism.
Yeah. I think there is a sect of Flat Earthers that are very veganism and stuff as well, though. I think it just comes along with the conspiracy mindset of there's going to be some of them. Not that I'm saying vegans are conspiracy theorists, but people that are like that tend to have these fringe opinions. Yeah,
and I don't think it's one of them things where every flat earther, I don't think it's something where flat earthers are saying you've got to be vegan or you can't be a flat earther or something like that.
Yeah. Geerstreiber in the chat there. Gail, were you not aware that Nathan Thompson named his dog after you? I don't know if he actually realizes that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Nathan Thompson's dog is called Geo, and he's a lovely dog, and I feel so sorry for him having an owner like Nathan Thompson, because Nathan Thompson forces a vegan diet on his dog.
Okay, so here's my take on veganism. I had a very nice I had a very nice burger last night, completely vegan. It had fake chicken in it, and that chicken tasted surprisingly nice. And it's okay to be vegan as long as there's as long as you have adequate substitutes for meat. I don't think I'm not necessarily sure that the nutritional value of vegan food would be good for dogs or be alright for dogs.
No, dogs need meat. That's why they've got fucking canines. You can't give. It's like trying to feed a lion a vegan diet. It's not on. A dog would not choose a vegan diet for itself. If something is capable of doing calculus and able to decide on its own, then it can be. Oh wait, no, Nathan Thompson can't do calculus, can he?
No,
wait, that's a problem. Whenever someone asked me the question once, well, would you eat another life form? And I said, well, I won't eat something as long as it can do calculus. But that's a problem, because that means I'd eat flat earthers.
That is true.
But no, I don't think that one is flat earth doesn't control your diet. I don't think so.
All right. This is actually quite fun. Much more fun than when I was doing the video, because in the video it was kind of bland because we weren't able to go through all these different examples and have a bit of fun. So this is one of the best debates I've had in a long time. So next point is deprive you of 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Now this is one of the contentious ones, I think, because there are a lot of flat earthers that, even Simon Dan's wife said it when she was talking about Team Skeptic. Looks like flat earth has kept him up quite a bit, and it is generally assumed that when you're a flat earther, you're going to be spending hours at a time researching flat earth. Even Red Pill Philosophy.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel Pratt looks like he hasn't slept in about 9 years.
But I don't think that... I think that's more of a choice, or at least an interpretation of the research Flat Earth.
Yeah, or is it a symptom of the type of people that are flat earthers, that they're the kind of people that will obsessively research something and that will make them miss their sleep and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Nathan Thompson would rather watch a flat earth video than have some sleep.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll actually go to bed late because I'm working on Flurfia, or I might go to bed late because I'm working on a video. But that's because I am a night owl. And usually, if I don't get the 7 to 9 hours sleep, I'll just spend a few more hours sleeping. So
yeah. I'm up most nights because my audience is mainly American, so I've had to acclimatize to their time.
Yeah.
Stupid globe and time zones.
Yeah. Why does the Earth have to be a globe? Why can't it just be flat?
I know, there was the sun above us, so we'd all have daytime all the time. I guess it would just be midday, like, all the time.
Yeah. See, look, flat earthers. The globe is inconvenient for us.
Yeah. Man, it'd be so much easier if it was flat, but it's not.
Yeah. Alright, so I'll put a 0 for that. Exploit you financially. Now, this is definitely one of the ones
100%.
that I find contentious, because there are certainly examples where it seems like it's been financially exploitative, but then there are also choices that people... generally, it's more of a choice of whether you want to support Nathan Oakley. It's generally a choice of whether you want to go to a Flat Earth conference or not. So let's discuss this.
Well, let's look at Eric Dubay, for instance. His 200 proofs of his book and stuff. He is trying to exploit, people that don't know any better for money. Everything that he's doing is to promote Flat Earth so that he can make money. He is exploiting people that don't know better, that don't understand physics, and that then get obsessed with this because they realize they're one of the special chosen few that have realized the whole world's lying to them. So I think once you're in Flat Earth, there's almost an obligation to financially support the big Flat Earthers, I definitely think that Flat Earth exploits Flat Earthers financially.
I'm probably actually going to agree here, even though I sort of disagreed in my video, because Professor in the side chat said all super chats to Roxanne. And so, yeah, I think that there's definitely... I think that there's definitely levels of exploitation. I'm gonna put a 1 for like Nathan's group because that all super chats to Roxanne thing.
I mean, I know you and I collect super chats and stuff, but did you start the show by going, you can support the show by super chatting, or you can, here's a picture of all my merch? No, but Nathan Oakley pushes that at the beginning of every single one of his shows.
Yeah. And when it comes to saying super chats, I feel really uncomfortable pushing super chats because it does feel like I'd be because especially at a time like this, like holy hell, with all the coronavirus stuff, people don't have enough.
The thing is, for people like you and I that are doing this, people understand that if we want to keep doing this, then and they want to support us, and it's what allows us to keep doing this. But we will never say that, oh, come on, I need those super chats. You have to give me the super chats, otherwise, I'm done. It's not like that, and that's how they treat it. But it's hard to not feel slightly hypocritical because I do collect super chats, and I do have patrons and channel members. Yeah,
like I like how Flat Earth Aussie Jesus just popped in saying, then you have globeheads exploiting Flat Earthers to make money on their channel. It's how are we exploiting Flat Earthers to make money?
We're not exploiting Flat Earthers. We have monetized stupidity. That's all.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, but I'm going to put a 1 for that because I can definitely see, because I'd say someone like Ken Wheeler or even Ken Ring is exploiting people financially when he pushes his book that, Ken Ring pushes like books that cost like $100 or something, and these books are supposed to predict the weather for the next year, and I think that's financially exploitative, so I can agree with you on things like Eric Dubé. So yeah, I'm gonna...
Yeah.
Alright, next thing is restrict leisure time and activities. Now, I'm not sure about this.
It depends how much they're into researching the flat Earth, then, isn't it? Because, if it's the obsessive type that's going to spend all of their time researching flat Earth, I mean, does Nathan Thompson have time to go and do leisure stuff, or is every second of his life consumed with pushing the flat Earth onto children and stuff? I don't think it can apply to all flat Earthers by any means, but I think to a large amount it can, yeah.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to this, it's more of... We'd have to look at other groups that do restrict leisure time activities. So, for example, we'll look at Jehovah's Witnesses. What they'll often do is they'll often restrict things like... they'll often restrict things like, say, you're not supposed to play video games or something like that. You're supposed to, on your Sundays, you have to go to church and all that kind of stuff. I think that's more of when it comes to restrict leisure time and activities. And I haven't seen anything like that where it's like you've got to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any hard and fast rule. You're not being told, no, you can't go and have your Sunday round of golf because you're a flat earther. But once you're that deep into flat Earth, I think you would rather spend your time researching and pushing flat Earth than you would doing the other things that you did before.
I think it's more of a choice rather than a...
ultimately everything is a choice. And I think it comes back to how are they going to be treated by other flat earthers? If flat earthers are saying, right, we're going to spend this day in the 24/7 Discord trolling Globers, but you say, no, I can't, I'm going to go and play golf with my friends, then you're going to be chastised for not, you're not a real flat earther, you're not doing everything you can to push the flat Earth. I think it's not a hard and fast thing, but by the nature of what it is and the obsessive nature of a lot of flat earthers, I think it would restrict their leisure time.
I think it's more of a thing where it's where it is more of a choice, and by choice I mean it's more of a what's the term that I'm looking for?
Don't know.
You had it before on one of the earlier things where it's something that they tend to do sort of out of impulse rather than out of being told to do it.
Just like a desire to...
Personality trait of the type of person who's likely to be a flat earther. So I don't think it's necessarily restrictive of... I don't think it's flat Earth that's restricting their leisure times. I think it's just their personality of how they are that's restricting their leisure times.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not flat Earth that's telling them, no, you must restrict your leisure time. It is a personal thing for them to decide to do that. But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for flat Earth. Although, the type of people that flat Earthers are, maybe they don't have flat Earth in their life, they'll have something else to be obsessed with. Who knows?
True.
Maybe a 0.25 for that?
Yeah, I could probably go 0.25, and I'll give it a 0.5 for Nathan's group, because I think that is there an obligation to show up to his streams if he's if you're part of Nathan's group? Because it seems like he's got the same people on every time.
Yeah, pretty much. From what I understand, speaking to Ranty at least, it was expected that you would be there without question. You couldn't have a stream at the same time. You couldn't plan over things. If you were part of that group, you've got to be on the stream. Unless Nathan's angry with you and decided you can't come on for a while.
Okay, yep. So, yeah, I'll give it a higher score for Nathan's group, because I do think, as I've said before, Nathan's group is definitely far more cultish than than the rest of the flat Earth. So, and the last one under behavior control is require you to seek permission for major decisions.
No, I don't think Flat Earth are going to tell you can't buy your house and get a mortgage.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that really applies to Flat Earth. Unless anyone in the chat can say a reason why they think that Flat Earth would require you to seek permission for major decisions. I know Flat Earthers say things all the time that other Flat Earthers don't like. They can usually get chastised for it, but they don't ask permission to be able to go and say a particular thing, so I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was an easy one. Yeah, I can't think of any examples. Like, I'd probably have to think, okay, it'd probably, like, the closest that you could get to that would probably be when it comes to organising events, but that's part of organising events where everyone has to be in agreement of everything, but yeah, I don't think that's...
Oh, Rory! I've not seen Rory around for a while. Hey, how you doing?
I haven't seen him around for a while as well. One thing I was actually just thinking of just now is what we should have really done was gotten someone like... I know we probably couldn't have gotten someone like Telltale, but we should have gotten someone to come along and actually moderate it so that they could keep score and determine what the score is.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure we can figure it out ourselves. I mean, you lose because I say so, basically.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But that would have been a fun thing to do. But again, it would have been...
Well, that's the thing. Like, when we're having debates, like even like this, or even with Flat Earthers, it's not really a debate. It's more of a structured discussion. Debates are very specific things with timed rounds and points and stuff, and an arbitrator. There is no debate with Flat Earthers anyway, because they're retards and wrong about everything they say. But even this between us, it's more of a structured discussion than a debate. Yeah. I don't think, and there needs to be a winner or a loser, but you lose anyway.
Well, if you were hard and fast on the Flat Earthers are definitely a cult by the bite model, then you'd be losing. But one of the things that I find...
Well, we've only gone on one section so far.
Yeah, like the information control is definitely going to add to your side, because I've been through the information control before, and like when it comes to information control, I believe it ticks at least half. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it ticks like 80%, but it definitely ticks at least half. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I just saw a super chat from the Snark saying, "Have you seen me around lately?" And I want to say, yes, I have. I believe the Snark has been on Team Skeptic's on his live streams on Team Skeptic VR, or no, Team Skeptic After Dark. So yeah. Anyway, with that little break, we'll be on to... Hold up. I was just thinking, maybe whilst we're...
Hey, Gary, who's Bib the science guy, you moron?
So I think between these rounds, I'll read some of the super chats so that we don't have them all piled up at the end.
Cool.
So it's round like for $5 New Zealand says, "Lads, I've emailed both of you about collaborating. If you don't respond, I'll cry." And I do have to get round to responding to you about that.
Yeah. If people send me emails, I'm really, really sorry. I do try to reply to as many as possible, but I currently have 1,209 unopened emails. So bear with me.
I have, if I go to Gmail right now, I've got 5,520 unopened emails. Now, mind you, they've piled up from years of things like some of them are just notifications.
All your porn subscriptions, man. I mean,
yeah, like some of them are notifications from Reddit. Like why is
Reddit do it hardcore? Middle Earth exposed. All the good stuff.
Like, how did you get my email?
Gollum Good Times. I've seen all your porn links.
God damn it! I gotta I gotta stop using the NASA computers.
I mean, as you sent me that link with, what was it? Did you see what a Hobbit did with this ring? Click here. It was disgusting.
God damn it! Like, did I accidentally send those? God.
I told you to take me off the chain email, man, but you don't listen.
Yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, so Nowpinion says Flat Earth in itself is probably not a cult, but there are definitely certain Flat Earth groups that are cultish. It doesn't have to be as extreme as Zion. I think he means it doesn't have to instead of it hasn't have to. But yeah. I'd say that things don't have to be as extreme as other groups like Zion or... what's that group? Heaven's Gate.
Is that the ones that killed themselves to get onto the comet?
Yep.
Yeah. Literally drinking the Kool-Aid.
And it's round like for $5 New Zealand says, how do I have to act to get on a Round Earth channel? I don't know, like, quite often I'll have discussions where I'll be like, okay, I'll invite certain people on. Generally it's for me it's generally first and first served, or if I want a particular person on, I'll usually message them. So John Rapp says, sorry Craig, but Kiwis rule, don't diss our mates. What do you have to say about that?
What was that, sorry?
John Rapp for $5 Australian says, sorry Craig, but Kiwis rule, don't diss our mates.
I've got one response for John Rapp. Hold on. Here you go. Love you, John.
I feel as though it might start a war between Scotland and Australia.
You don't want to start a war with Scotland. You see what happened to the Romans? They did most of the world, got to Scotland, were like, fuck this shit, we're going back to Italy.
And it's round like for $5 New Zealand says, yeah, but I'm special. I will not be ignored. God damn it, love you, XX. What do you have to say about that?
We love you too.
Oh, I don't have anything to say about it. I'm ignoring it.
Oh, okay. I'm ignoring it as well. Sorry.
Yeah, we completely ignore that because it said that it will not be ignored. So I'm proving a point here. No, but we're not ignoring you.
At
least I don't think so.
82 Productions says, who set the visuals up? I see these topics start with BITE. Are they going to be followed with ME?
Oh yeah, I saw that a while back. Yeah, like it's called the Byte model, and it's BITE for byte. But yeah, we could add two more, like mind control and what would be another E? Entertainment.
You're stupid.
Entertainment control or something, you know.
Oh, Flyer Fozzy Wasco. I mean, guys in the chat, if you want some extra entertainment whilst you're doing this, just get out your Flurf bingo cards because Ross is hitting all of them right now.
I need to print some of them off. But anyway, we'll go on to information control. So the first point there is deliberately withhold and distort information, and yes,
100%.
I'm giving that a 1. Like, I cannot argue against that.
I mean, one thing that always baffles me with flat earthers is that they will take experiments that completely kill the flat earth, like the Michelson-Morley, and go, well, that proves the earth's flat. And it's like, what? Do you have a chromosome deficiency or something? What's actually wrong with you? How can you think that an experiment that was trying to detect the ether and failed proves that the earth is flat? Like, honestly, how do these people eat their breakfast without accidentally stabbing themselves in the eye with their spoon?
Or there was the there was the one where you got to get up the Bob. You got to bring up Bob.
Oh yeah, Bob. I've just got a button for that one here. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, 15 degrees. I mean, we detected that, but now we got to try and prove that it wasn't the Earth's motion that we detected. No, you literally just detected that, and now you're trying to say it was heaven energies, Bob. What the fuck?
Or there was, the reason why this falls into the deliberately withhold is he deliberately withheld that because Remember in the documentary he said, "Oh, we can't. Obviously, we can't go public with this."
Let this out now, it would be devastating. Yes, Bob, it would be. You're mic'd up, you moron.
Yeah, and that definitely falls under deliberately withhold. What about Anthony Riley, who deliberately distorted the information about being at a Hoi Hoi Lake?
Yeah, and purposely hiding parts of the letter from Einstein, the fake letter from Einstein, purposely hiding parts of that prove that it's fake, while streaming about it to try and say, oh, look, Einstein said this when he didn't. No, flat earthers always lie. Even Eric Dubay. In my first video I did about Eric Dubay, one of his 200 proofs is that you can see certain islands in Spain from sea level, right? And he shows a picture of the islands, right? When you actually search what that picture is, it's a still from a video up the top of a fucking mountain on a viewing platform looking over the ocean towards some islands. You know, flat earthers do nothing but lie and distort information. Yeah. Or in the case of Flat Earth Ozzy Roscoe, are so damaged because of the amount of alcohol they've drank, think that giants dug the moon out of the Grand Canyon, melted it into quartz, filled it with helium whilst it was cooling, put it in the sky to mock us for worshipping the sun. And by the way, the sun is an interdimensional portal. No, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I think that's just crazy, not necessarily... sorry about that, I've got a bit of a cough. I don't think that's necessarily deliberately withholding and distorting information. I think that's just craziness. But then there's also the example of, like, we could rattle off examples all day, like Nathan Oakley. We can't show that, otherwise it would be perfect globe proof.
Yeah, no, exactly. During the stream with Riley, about talking about the bulge, a certain picture for Walton Bisland's website, said, no, don't talk about the bulge. Perfect globe proof. Yeah, it is, Nathan, and you know it is. Flat Earth Ozzy Roscoe says that he's advanced the theory about the giants. Now it was Voltron and the Defenders of the Universe that actually did it. Sorry, my bad, Ross. That's right. They had the Space Stone as well. That's right, isn't it?
Oh, and don't forget the Mind Stone or whatnot.
No flat earthers ever come anywhere near a Mind Stone.
True. Anyway, next point is forbid you were speaking with ex-members and critics. Now, for this one...
100.
For this one, I'd say that they would forbid speaking with ex-members, but I'm not necessarily sure about critics. Like, a lot of them actually do decide, okay, we're going to go... I mean, that is a good point. I think it's more of they forbid certain people. Like, it depends if you're making the... it depends if you like a JM Truth. So I'd give this one a 0.5.
I think I'd give it higher. Definitely forbid you from speaking with ex-members. Just again, look at Jose, JG Gonzalez, Tiger Dan, etc., you know. Tiger Dan the way he was treated was absolutely hideous. They doxed him. They showed where he worked. They found out where his family was. You know, he got threatened in mail. You know, the way that he was not only said no, you can't talk to him, but treated with absolute hatred by the flat Earth community was awful. But there is a lot of don't go and talk to that person about the flat Earth. Yeah. So I think I would personally give it more of a 0.75 than the 0.5. I think it's more close to meeting that than not.
I'll give it a 0.0. I'm going to do something that I wouldn't usually do. I'm going to give it a 0.05 for the... Actually, no, I'm unsure about this because like Nathan Oakley is very it's most on Nathan Oakley's show. Like even though they allow people on, it's more of a just attack rather than discuss. So I might actually give it a 1 for Nathan Oakley's.
Oh, I'd definitely give it a 1 for Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, it's not because even though he promotes quote unquote debates. It's not really a debate. It's more of him just shouting over someone. It's not speaking to critics. 0.54 round up. What do you mean? So yeah, I'll give it a 0.75 because I put it in the wrong section. I need to remember that we're not in.
Pardon me.
So yeah,
What's the what percentage would of the points would you have to meet? Would you say to be classed as a cult?
I'd have to say about 80% is what I'm going. That's although it does depend on like what. Does depend on like what your threshold is. So some people may have a higher threshold, and this is like we could get someone like someone who's more well versed in cults to go through. So if you're well versed in cults and want to say, oh, okay, we're wrong on this, feel free to.
Yeah. No. By no means think that I'm an expert in anything that I'm saying here. This is just my opinion and my experiences with flat Earth and flat Earthers. For me, it's very much a cult mentality. It has to be because of the things that it pushes. Does it meet all of the criteria? But no. But I think very few cults would meet all of that criteria. I mean, I'd say if you meet half of it, you could probably be classed as a cult. Yeah,
like I would definitely not say that you have to meet all the criteria. There are definitely. Like, even for some cults, like, I'm not sure which ones, exactly. I know that you've got some which meet just about every single point except for, like, one. Like, I think Jehovah's Witnesses, I've talked to ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and, I've spoken to an ex-Jehovah's Witness who, and I went through all this, and they were like, yep, no, yep.
Yeah, the guy who sang my intro song, Fight the Flat Earth, he comes from a family of Jehovah's Witnesses. He's an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and he's told me a lot about his experiences of growing up in that kind of environment, and that was definitely a cult.
Yeah. And it's really weird. I find that a lot of people that haven't really been a Jehovah's Witnesses haven't been a Jehovah's Witness before will often say, no, it doesn't do that. No, it doesn't do that. No, it doesn't do that. Whereas when you speak with people that have left, they're like, yes, it does do that. So it's really, really interesting when you speak to people that have been parts of cults.
Yeah. Gary, when you use the argument of that's how artists use perspective, it really shows how dumb you are, little man. Sorry, Planarwalk. That just always makes me laugh. But this is how an artist draws, therefore Earth be flat.
Yeah. Well, I find that we've got a few good examples of flat earthers in the chat. So if we ever need to refer to, what an average flat earther is like, we've got a few in the chat that we can refer to. Anyway, we'll get on with this because we've been here for over an hour and we're only a quarter of the way through it. So discourage access to non-cult sources of information. Now, I have to I have to give this a 100% for Nathan Oakley. I'd probably go one for general as well because a lot of it is listen to Eric Dubay. Generally it's like go watch Eric Dubay's 200.
And it's also don't listen to NASA, they're lying to you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, anything in all the textbooks at school, that's all a lie. Don't believe what the textbooks say, that's a lie. It's just indoctrination. Yeah, anything that isn't a flat earth source is indoctrination or a lie. And
that also
the most ridiculous thing about flat earth is that anything from space literally kills it, right? There's millions and millions of pictures from space all the fucking time. And the only way that they can say, actually argue against it is go, but it's fake. It's, just give me some evidence that it's fake then. That's all you got. That's how, so much information that there is. Oh no, it's all fake. But this picture of a flat horizon that I've taken is 100% real.
Well, that also delves into the next point. Divide information into insider versus outsider doctrine. And, again, like, they definitely do that. Yeah. The next one, I'm also going to give a 1 after that, because that's generate and use propaganda extensively.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you have any of those toilet paper rolls from Nathan Thompson?
No, but I did do a video debunking his flat Earth flyer, and even on the flat Earth flyer, there's lies that he knows that there's lies. Let me just see if I can find it a sec. Give me 1 sec. Which one was it in? First the Idiots, Nathan Thompson. Oh God. Yeah, here we go. So, on this page from his flyer, talking about the bubbles in space,
Okay.
and he's literally using pictures in the pool, and I've spoken to him about that. He's like, I know it's in the pool. But I'm putting it on there because NASA always lie. There's another one as well.
That's kind of ironic. Like, I'm putting it on there because NASA always lies. It's like, but aren't you lying?
And then there's this one, right? NASA have been caught time and again faking from stop motion animation, blah blah blah. Right, and he's talking about the photo on the left, Earth image pasted from this, right? But the picture that they're using, somebody added the Earth to it. That's not the official NASA picture. And I pointed out to him that in the official NASA picture, the Earth isn't there.
Yeah, I've heard about that one as well.
And he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter, but NASA always lie. This is just it. This is just something that points out the fact that they always lie. So he knows that there's lies about what he calls lies. He knows that this isn't even a true thing because that isn't a NASA image. So he doesn't care about what the truth is. Anything to just push his agenda.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, I find.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to the next point, which I think will be an interesting point. And that is use information gained in confession sessions against you. And I don't think that this applies to Flat Earth. At least not.
No, I don't. I know. I don't think that's something that really can apply to Flat Earth. I mean, Flat Earthers will take words that you say and twist them against you all the time. George Musser came on my channel and straight up said, "No, Sleeping Warrior's wrong. Of course, gravity acts like a force. This is why." Yeah, and they take that information and try to use it against you, but it's not really the same. So I think that.
Yeah. The next point is gaslight to make you doubt your own memory. Now, this is something that, when it comes to general flat earthers, I'd probably say no. But when it comes to Nathan Oakley, I have had him. It's not so much that he tries to gaslight flat earthers; it's more that he tries to gaslight the people that come onto his panel. Like he's done that to me. He's gaslit me.
Yeah, I think they try to gaslight the arguments. They try to make you doubt your own arguments by repeating it back to you in an incredulous way.
Yeah,
to try and make you doubt what you're saying.
So I'm going to put a 0 for that for general flat earthers, but for Nathan Oakley, I'm going to give it a 0.5 because I've definitely seen that kind of thing.
Ross, I'm not quoting you like out of turn or anything here. You literally told me the first time we met that you think the moon was dug out of the Grand Canyon by giants, filled with helium, whilst cooling, which is why there's craters because bubbles pop, and then put in the sky to mock us for worshipping the sun. You then told me the sun is an interdimensional portal, and then you told me that pendulums are diviners of demons. So don't try and say that I'm saying something that you didn't say.
And so the next point is requires you to report thoughts, feelings, and activities to superiors. And I don't think this is.
No, I don't think that applies.
Yeah. So that's another 0 there. Encourage you to spy and report on others' misconduct. Now,
right, for me, my interaction with flirts on Facebook and Twitter, 100%. Flat Earthers are on a campaign at the moment to report everything that I do to try and get it removed. But they will also do it to other Flat Earthers that speak out against the consensus. Now, I've seen them turn on Flat Earthers on Twitter and have their account taken down by all of them reporting them.
Okay, I haven't actually seen...
I think that's encouraged.
I personally haven't actually seen this, so it's very hard for me to say, and it generally would apply to other flat earthers. Like if, in fact, there are probably definitely flat earthers that it would apply to. I'm not entirely convinced. So this one will probably, like, even after we finish the discussion, this one will probably be up for question, because I'm just not entirely convinced that it satisfies this. But, you know,
should we give it a 0.5 then?
Yeah, if you want to. I'm more comfortable with giving it a 0.5 when it comes to Nathan Oakley's group, because I think I have seen it in Nathan Oakley's circle. Well, actually, yeah. I mean, I suppose in a way, Sleeping Warrior has reported on. I'm gonna actually put it up for Nathan Oakley's group. All super chats to Roxanne. That's what's convinced me for that. Jeez, I keep on clicking into here.
Sean's making a good point though, that when you come out against Flat Earth, like Jose, like Tiger Dan, like Speak Truth, Seek Truth, then I think Flat Earthers are definitely encouraged to go and report and try and deplatform them. Because Sean's right, they literally deplatform Tiger Dan.
Okay. I think that's why I'm giving it a 0.5 there, because there are definitely examples. I'm not entirely sure if it's I know that it's definitely used for flat earthers that are more popular, and so I think here's a good way of putting it: flat earthers that are more popular are more into a sort of cult of flat earth than flat earthers that are less popular.
Definitely. And
I think that's where a lot of it comes in when it comes to this discussion, because we see people such as Nathan Oakley, Nathan Thompson, JM Truth, Bob, and all that. We see these people. We don't often see the people that like who was that person that you and Team had a discussion with recently?
Which one?
I think it was Speak Truth's friend. That woman.
Oh, Rachie. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in the chat at the moment.
Oh, she is? I haven't seen it.
Yes.
I haven't noticed her in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, she doesn't seem to be, you know, you don't see people like her as much as you see people like Nathan Oakley, you know? Because, you know, those are the people, like, when I have a debate, those are the people that I'm trying to convince. When I make videos, those are the people that I'm trying to convince. I'm not trying to convince people like Nathan Oakley, because I know that, you know, they, as you said, when it comes to promote dependence and obedience, you know, they are dependent on flat Earth. So even if they were convinced that the Earth is a globe, and I'm pretty much convinced that Nathan Oakley doesn't believe that the Earth is a globe at this point.
Oh no, he hasn't for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure he. I mean, used to believe it. But...
He's definitely dumb, because when he apparently figured out the Earth was flat, he went and woke up his wife and told her. I mean, waking a sleeping woman is one of the dumbest things you could ever do. I've been married for 13 years. You don't wake a woman up when she wants to sleep. You lose your fucking hand like that.
Yeah, I know that from experience. Anyway, we'll go on to the next. We'll go on to. Oh, actually, first, there's been one super chat since that section, so I'll read that super chat out, and it was a long time ago. So let me. There we go. Jay Kun for £5, I think it is. Says, "All hail the great Zarquon." Is that?
All hail Zarquon. What was that?
What?
Nothing. Just a trigger or something, I guess.
Okay.
Whoosh.
Yeah, that went over my head. I haven't heard much about Zarquon. Like, I think I have, but at the same time. Anyway, so on to thought control, and where did... There we go. Alright, so... this first one, I'm definitely giving a 1. Instill black versus white, us versus them, good versus evil thinking, and yeah, it gets that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Because according to a lot of flat earthers, all globe people are pedophile, rapist cult members who drink babies' blood. Because flat earthers are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all be fucking mental, guys. Seriously. Like, what's wrong with you?
So, yeah, that gets a 1. Like, I don't think there's any discussion. Change your identity, possibly even your name. Now, I don't think that this one... I don't think this one applies, or I don't think...
Well, I think it depends on the type of flat earther you are, because who knows Jeranism by his real name? You know?
Yeah, but then it
people know it as Jeranism. It depends if they want to portray that online persona and have a different name. But I don't think there's any forcing you to, change your name. It's not like, oh, now you're in my cult. Your name is Zarquon Jr. the Third.
Yeah, it's like let's take Team Skeptic. Like,
I don't want to take Team Skeptic. You can keep it. It's fine.
But like Team Skeptic, barely anyone actually knows his name, and I think that's just a product of being on YouTube. Really,
his real name is Karen.
I'd be surprised if that one was.
Isn't that a face not even a mother could love?
I actually have you heard of Action Lab?
Yes, I'm a good fan of Action Lab.
I think that Team Skeptic and Action Lab look very similar. I think that Team Skeptic basically looks like a sleep deprived Action Lab.
I don't know. Have you seen Action Lab's mustache recently? He needs to get rid of that.
Yeah, like NASA paid a lot of CGI to put that on Team Skeptic. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to say that, was I?
Mustachio question.
So yeah,
okay,
give that one a no. Use loaded language and cliches to stop complex thought. And again, I've got to give this one a yes because.
I don't know, because when has a flat earther ever had a complex thought?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, whatever they're doing is effective, So,
definitely, that's a 1.
Yeah, like
because it's like when you and I did the collaboration about Nathan, and the bit that you said about how. Every time you spoke when you were trying to say something to him, he would just interrupt and start babbling. He doesn't let you get a thought out, and that's kind of how flat earthers work in debate. And when talking to them on Facebook, you try and have just like, oh, here's one point I want to talk about, and then they send you a 2,000 word post about how we're being lied to by the Illuminati lizard people.
Yeah,
it's anything to take away from actually the focus of trying to get down to something.
Or what about when Professor Dave made that video saying all the 10 things that all flat earthers say, and Eric Dubay responded by saying the 10 things that all flat earthers say.
Yeah, yes. So then I responded by saying, no, you fucking idiot.
Eric
Dubay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely a 1 for that.
Yeah, and then there's the typical things like perspective. Like they always say perspective, and that's basically a cliche that they use at this point. But anyway, induce hypnotic or trance states to indoctrinate. Now, even though Eric Dubé has that droning voice, which I'm pretty sure could fall under that, I don't think that quite qualifies.
No, true. I just don't understand how any normal brain can think the Earth's flat. I just imagine there must be some kind of hypnotism or magic or something.
But I can't bring up an example of this, so I'd have to give it to 0.
No, I agree.
Yeah, but if someone does want to bring up an example, then feel free.
Yes.
Here's the one thing. Like, this is not a definitive thing. So if you want to dispute any of this, you can. Like, hell, if you want to dispute anything I say or anything FTFE says, feel free to.
No, fuck you. Just unsubscribe if you don't agree with me, bitches. I mean, no, I'm kidding. But the next one, teach thought-stopping techniques to prevent critical thoughts. 100%. Spurs Kimo, for instance, he literally coaches other flat earthers on how to avoid answering questions.
Oh, I had not heard of that.
Oh no, there's actually audio clips of it going around. He literally coaches other flat earthers on ways to avoid answering questions to muddy the waters of conversations, and that is Spurs' entire thing. You cannot get Spurs to answer a question, no matter how fucking hard you try. He will not answer a direct question, and they do that to catch you off guard, to ruin your train of thought, to stop you finishing a point, and actually. If you're trying to run through a hypothetical situation with them, they will just argue against every little bit to stop the thought going the way it needs to go.
Yeah, I have not actually... I hadn't actually heard that, so yeah, I'll have to agree with you there. Alright, so... next thing, allow only positive thoughts. Now, this one is definitely one of them ones which I think some people disagreed with me on this. I think Sean Hufford disagreed with me. I can't remember who it was, but this is one of them ones which I think when it comes to allow only positive thoughts, it's more of a way of... have you heard a song called Turn It Off?
Possibly.
It's that one there. It goes, turn it off like a light switch. Just go click. It's a neat little Mormon trick.
No.
Okay. Anyone that has seen Book of Mormon will know what I'm talking about. And essentially, it's basically saying... The idea of the song is basically saying, if you've got a bad thought, the idea is to just, turn it off, get it out of your head.
Right. No, I wouldn't say that Flat Earth allows any positive thoughts, but it allows only positive thoughts towards the Flat Earth.
Yeah, I think that this... Now, I may be wrong. This is why having someone that's as well versed on cults would be good to have. But when it comes to allow only positive thoughts, I think it means positive thoughts as in thoughts of positivity, because that's a way to sort of get people... Because if someone associates a whole lot of positive thoughts with being in a certain group, then, they're obviously going to be more attached to the group or more attached to the cult. It's like... It's like if... now, very much a cult is like being in an abusive relationship, and I just had a message.
I just want to, if anyone's not paying attention to the chat, Gary Webenenga's amazing new stupidity. The sun doesn't set, it slants down.
I just...
fucking genius. Absolute genius, mate. Well done. There is definitely a Nobel Prize in your future.
Regical actually just messaged me about that.
Wow. I mean, when I say a Nobel Prize in your future, that would probably be, when they dissect your brain and someone wins the medical Nobel Prize or something. But fuck me, the sun doesn't set; it slants down. I mean, was there a time when you were a child when one of your parents held you and the other got a toffee hammer and just started battering the front of your forehead for a while? Because your brain is fucking mincemeat, mate. Seriously.
I do have to say to Gary, can you please stop talking? Because I'm trying to win a debate here about the Earth, about Flat Earth not being a cult. So
Yeah, he's fighting your side, man.
But anyway, we're on allow only positive thoughts. So yeah, I think that it's more of. I was about to bring up abusive relationships. Like abusive relationships will be. It'll only allow.
The way Nathan Thompson treats his girlfriends.
It'll be only allowing a. They'll allow only positive thoughts in the sense that. I mean, sure, they'll try and. They'll try and. Oh, what's it? I'm trying to think of the particular thing. Geez. Like, they'll try and guilt trip the person, but at the end of the day, they want positive thoughts and about them, so they'll try and keep that. But I'm not. I think I can give this one a 0.5 because I'm very unsure of this, of what it means by positive thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because
like I said, it definitely encourages only positive thoughts towards the flat Earth.
Yeah,
you know, you're not allowed to negatively think about it or talk about it. So I agree, 0.5. But maybe a 1 from Nathan's group.
Well, I'm not too sure that it gets a. I'm not sure that it gets a 1 for Nathan's group. I'd have to, as I said, I think it's something that is up for dispute, because yeah, they definitely only allow positive thoughts towards flat Earth, but it's one of them things where it depends on what it means by allow only positive thoughts, and I might have to actually go on to let's check this. Allow. Okay, this might actually. Okay, let's. Rejection of. Okay, I'm going to give it a 1 now because another way of putting it might be rejection of a rational analysis, critical thinking, and constructive criticism. So yeah, I think I'll change that to a 1 because I think it means positive thoughts towards the group.
So is the loser of this debate deleting their channel? Yeah.
No.
That seems to be the current get out clause with flat earthers, is that I'll only debate you if after I beat you you delete your channel. The problem there is that no matter how much a flat earther is to beaten, they will just knock all the pieces over, shit on the board, and claim they've won anyway.
Yeah, like that's why I don't think that when it comes to a lot of these debates, like I think that the main reason why a lot of debates are labelled as debates is just because people associate debate with they'll basically associate debate with something like dumpster fire or
yeah, that's might be my fault. I've tried to do that because YouTube algorithm,
yeah, and so then people like watching the dumpster fire and stuff like that. But when it comes to the debate, it's not really a debate.
No,
the closest thing that there is. Okay. I was just getting a message from someone. Oh, this is a very interesting piece of paper.
Hey, Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe, if you're not busy later, me and Team will be on Team's channel if you want to come and, teach us your wisdom. You've just been handed something by your agent there.
Yeah. As I said, it has something very interesting on it, which I'll have to talk to you afterwards about. Anyway, excessive. Okay, next one. Use excessive meditation, singing, prayer, and chanting to block thoughts. I don't think so for this one.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I haven't seen any examples.
I mean, I've heard Multi Tom Tom's rap, and that definitely stops all four. But not really the same.
Yeah, I mean, there is some flat earthers that will create songs like you've heard of Mr. Oh, I mean, he made a whole lot of videos on you. Mr. Cheswick.
Mr. Cheswick, yeah, I will forever be grateful to Mr. Cheswick for making my outro music. I mean, it's amazing. It's the most banging tune I've fucking ever heard. Honestly, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cheswick.
I actually, when it comes to Mr. Cheswick, I've heard some people criticize his music, but I don't think it's half bad.
No, he's not bad.
Yeah. Like, some of it is a little bit derivative, but, like, I actually enjoy the,
Slyman Downs Wanker.
Yeah, that's the one that I was about to bring up. I actually really enjoy that. And it's partially because I like the original song as well. But, you know, like, if he were to actually remake the original song, there would probably be 1,000 views on it, like, within a couple of weeks, and half of those views would be mine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But he's not a bad flat earther.
No.
Well, there are a few things that he has said which do annoy me, but for the most part.
Yeah, he's quite funny.
Yeah.
And easy to mess with.
But anyway, reject rational analysis, critical thinking, and doubt. Yeah, we're gonna go with the one for that. Like,
Yep, 100%.
All right, so then we get.
All right, Ross, cool. I'll send you a link to join later when we're on Teams channel. All right, guys. If anyone wants to bring some marshmallows, there's going to be a dumpster fire over on Team Skeptics channel later.
Okay. Emotion.
One sec. Scythe DK says, "What tastes best to flirfs? Like Pratt, crayons or lead paint chips?" Well, they obviously prefer the lead paint chips. That's clear to see with their brain damage. So I guess they prefer that taste. Okay. I think the crayons is, if there's nothing else around, I guess I'll munch on some crayons.
Yeah. All right, we're going on to emotional control now, and the first one is instill irrational fears, phobias of questioning or leaving the group. And I have to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not too sure about Flat Earth in general. Like, it's definitely like a sometimes for Flat Earth in general, but for Nathan Oakley's group, I'm definitely giving a 1, because you know there's definitely that. But are there any examples outside of Nathan Oakley's group? Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Tiger Dan. You know, it just the way that he was treated, I think, scares flat earthers that want to leave. I think the fact that people that leave flat earth have been treated so badly is disparaging for any flat earther that might be on the edge and is thinking of leaving.
Well, when it comes to just your average flat earther, I would definitely agree when it comes to YouTuber flat earthers. But when it comes to your average flat earther, I'm not too sure about this, because like your average flat earther probably isn't recognized enough to have problems with questioning or leaving. I definitely give it a 0.5, but I'm not sure as I said, when it comes to someone like I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it definitely well, I don't know, because flat earthers actually question everything, don't they, really?
Well, they say they question everything.
They say they question everything, but they only accept an answer if it suits their narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 0.5, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, whether you say sink or set, it means the same thing. You're saying the sun doesn't sink or set, it slants. You're dumb as fuck.
And again, Gary, can you please stop talking in the chat so that I can actually win this debate?
Yeah. But Gary, I know I've been on YouTube now for coming up for 2 years, and you've been running from me for 2 years. So how about you be a big boy, pull on your pants, and come and actually debate me? Sorry.
I think Bob the Science Guy said... maybe he was responding to Gary.
He's talking to Gary, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very hard to...
He's not Bob the Science Guy anymore. According to Gary, he's Bib the Science Guy. So there we go.
Okay. Okay, so next one is label some emotions as evil, worldly, sinful, or wrong.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any...
Emotions. No, I wouldn't say they label emotions. They label certain thoughts and activities as evil and sinful and wrong. You know, Nathan Thompson will constantly scream about how me personally, I'm lying, I'm evil because I lie to everyone about everything. I know the Earth's flat and I'm evil and I'm pushing the lying, but I don't think that's anything to do with emotions. Yeah,
well, when I am uncertain about something, I go to check the original one, but it doesn't seem to be on here for the or the freedom of mind version, but I don't know. Like it's really weird. Like there's different ones. Like this is a very simplified version. So yeah. I'll give it a 0. But if anyone wants to change
I agree
it,
with 0 on that. I don't think Flat Earth's about emotions as much as it is about blind faith.
Yeah.
No matter how much Flat Earthers claim they're seeking the truth and want to do experiments, they never accept anything unless it fits their narrative. You know, like Bob. Thanks, Bob. You know, buy £20,000 gyroscope, prove the Earth doesn't rotate. It proves the Earth rotates. Shit, what do I do? Say it's the heavenly energies.
Yeah, I need to actually get a sound clip for this next one. So rather than playing a sound clip, I'm going to do an imitation for this next one. So, teach emotion-stopping techniques to prevent anger and homesickness. And for that, I have to say, you little millennial prick, you somehow think that's fucking Earth curve.
That was a pretty good impression of Nathan Oakley.
So there's nothing there that stops. Yeah.
I'm talking.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna give any points on that because like they don't even try to prevent anger.
No.
And like, didn't he even beat down Bob one time?
I tried. Bob went on there. I've got to say, right, I have never gone on Nathan's because I never thought he was worth my time because he's not a real flat earther. I'm going to at some point to fuck with him, but when Bob the science guy went on Nathan Oakley's, that was a master class of how to fuck with a flat earther. Bob, you are a legend for doing the way that you schooled Nathan Oakley on his channel. It's beautiful.
Okay. I just saw something which I'm going to play afterwards because I don't know what it is. And I think it might be... I think it might be a video clip. But yeah. I'll have to see what exactly it is because Regical sent it to me. Yeah. And it's a video... It looks to be a video clip. And I'm just making sure because it... Okay, yeah. That has a point. Oh, it's an image. Apparently. So I'll show it afterwards. It says it has to be done. Okay, I see what he means. I'll show it afterwards. Anyway, as I was saying, let's go on to the next one. Promote feelings of guilt, shame, and unworthiness. I haven't... Now, this is probably one that's up for discussion, so I haven't seen anything, but you could probably give a few examples.
Sorry, the promote feelings of guilt, shame, and unworthiness.
Yeah.
I think that they do try to do that to globe earthers. They try to make us feel stupid, like we're unworthy, like we should be guilty that we've listened to the scientific consensus. I think a lot of flat earth is about trying to shame globe earthers into being flat earthers.
Yeah. Actually... Okay, I was just having a look at 82's comment because he said if you're about to read my comment aloud, do so Planarwalk can hear it, especially after that Nathan impersonation. And he had a comment earlier about their arguments are all emotional arguments, so it's all about the field, so give it at least a 0.5, and that was, I believe that's for label some emotions as evil, worldly, sinful or wrong. I don't think that's still I still don't think that satisfies it if their emotional arguments are emotional arguments. I think it's just that, it's very easy to use emotional arguments rather than...
Yeah. I think 0.5.
I still don't think that satisfies it. Like, even if someone uses emotional arguments, I don't think that I don't think that's labeling emotions as evil, worldly, sinful, or wrong, because that would be... if you take
no,
take a classic cult like
sorry, I didn't realize we were back on that one.
Yeah, I was just going back for a second because 82 brought it up. It'd be like if you were to use something like it'd be like if I were to say lust is wrong, for example. Lust is a type of emotion, and let's say that I were to label it as wrong. That would satisfy it, but just saying that, just using emotional arguments doesn't mean an emotion is wrong.
No.
Yeah. So that's my rationale for that. But anyway, back onto the promote feelings of guilt, shame, and unworthiness. I think they try and do it to globe earthers, but I don't think that they necessarily do it to flat earthers.
No, they well, unless you're thinking of leaving the flat Earth. But I think it meets the criteria because they will try and make you be a flat earther by promoting feelings of guilt and unworthiness because you think the Earth is a globe.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's like a lot of these things are more to people in the cult, or more of forms of control over someone that's in the situation rather than people outside.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it at best as 0.25 because we can, because it doesn't seem to really apply to flat earthers, just to people that they're trying to target to. Yeah. So I'll give it a 0.25 for that and 0.25. All right, now, in the original video, I do remember that I didn't really give this one a point, and this one, but this one I've actually changed my mind on since. Shower you with praise and attention, love bombing, and you brought up seek truth, speak truth earlier.
Yeah, and the way he was very conveyed, definitely.
Yeah, so I have to go and give this one a 1 because I've changed my mind since I've made that video. Okay, here's gonna an interesting one. Threaten your friends and family. Now,
okay. Sorry, you go first. I've got a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think this would probably apply more to people that are YouTubers or that are big flat earthers rather than the smaller flat earthers.
Well, I want to talk about Awake Souls because he threatened his own family if they didn't back his flat earth beliefs.
Okay.
And I've personally been threatened. My family have been threatened by flat earthers. I think the mindset the flat earthers have make doing that kind of thing without realizing the kind of consequences very easy. There's definitely examples of that happening within flat earth.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen much of it, but then again, I'm not. I haven't been a flat earther to have my friends and family threatened. Yeah, when it came to, I think a good example for me to use here, and I should have actually brought this up for some of the other ones. When it comes to my now this wasn't entirely within the flat Earth community, but when it came to my 404 Globe Not Found Twitter account, I never really had my friends or family threatened at all. But that might have been because I didn't interact with many other people on that.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen much of this when it comes to in general. I could probably give it a 0.5 because
I think because of the quite big examples, it definitely deserves at least half a point.
Yep. Yeah, I think that a lot of one of the things I have to say about this is a lot of this does key. Have you heard? There's a certain sort of bias. It's like survivorship bias, but it's not the exact same. You know what survivorship bias is, right?
Yeah, when you feel angry at yourself for being a survivor of something when others died or something.
No. Survivorship bias is when it comes to airplanes returning home, right? They had a look at the where all the places were getting hit, and they noticed that the engines never got hit. Or there were no bullet holes around the engines. And, well, that's because if the engines got hit, the plane would crash. You know, the plane wouldn't get home.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things. We tend to remember the big examples rather than the times that it doesn't happen. It's like when it comes to nuclear power. We remember things like Chernobyl, but what about the hundreds of reactors that haven't had a meltdown? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just do want to put that out there because even though we may give something like a 0.5, it doesn't. That is often due to that kind of bias. So I just want to make sure that people are aware of that, so that just in case you want to say that no, this isn't actually as this doesn't happen as much as you'd like to say, or if someone says, well, why aren't you giving it a higher score? Because there are those sorts of things where.
Yeah, I think it deserves a half because there are some very strong examples of it happening, but I wouldn't say it's something that happens to all of them.
Yeah. This next one, I have to give a 1 again. Shun you if you disobey or disbelieve.
100%.
Yeah. Because
Tiger Dan, seek truth, speak truth. Jose, ranty, disagreeing with Sleep Warrior on some things. Even what's happened between Nathan Thompson and Flat Earth Millionaire because they didn't agree on the dome issue. You know, Nathan's totally shunned him now and stuff. You know, so definitely.
Yeah. All right, and then teach that there is no happiness or peace outside the group. Now, this is one thing that I might actually go half on because...
Patricia Steer, yeah, right, Radical.
What?
Radical's right about Patricia Steer as well. She comes in the last lot.
Yeah.
But sorry, carry on.
But she was also shunned within the group.
Exactly.
Which is why she left. Because... And I like Mark Sargent's take on it, where he said that there was... I think it was in an interview with BM Furble, where he said that he was aware that a lot of it did come from flat earthers. Like a lot of the hate that she got.
Yeah.
But... one person said, Aussie Jesus isn't making it easy for Planet to win either. But yeah, when it comes to teach that there is no peace, happiness or peace outside the group, yeah, I think that gets... I think that would get a 0.5 because when it comes to that, they do say about how they're... how since they've been a flat earther, their life has been better. But I don't think that...
they've got purpose and stuff.
But I think that they also sort of do admit that it is hard to be a flat earther.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that it's half and half of that, I'd say. 0.5 and 0.5. Okay. Alright, so now we can go ahead and tally these up. So for behavior control, we get 0.5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 0.25. That comes out to 2.75. And 2.7.
I know for any flat earthers watching, this might be a bit difficult right now, seeing the math. You can just turn off for a couple of minutes whilst we're doing it. It's big and scary, I understand.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's out of 10. Alright, information control gets a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5.25. 5.25 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of 9. See, I said that it would be at least half.
Yeah.
Thought control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 8.
Excuse me.
5 out of 8. That's another at least half. And emotional control, 1, 2, 3, 3.75. Okay, 3.75. Okay, so and that was out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 8. Alrighty. Now it just means now I just need to add all these together. And why did we have to do fractions? I hate fractions. It's not because they're hard or anything, it's just because... Alright, so that's 3, 8, 13, 16.75. $16.75 out of 10, 9, or 10, 16, 26 plus 20, 35. Okay, 16,
so we're looking around half.
Yeah, like how does that as a percentage? 16.75 out of 35. That's 48%. So yeah, just about half. So I wouldn't say that it qualifies to be a cult, especially not under the 80%.
No, like I said, I don't think it matches all of them, but the fact that it matches some of them so strongly is enough to call it cult-like, at least.
Like
I mean, there's definitely cult aspects around it, and cult-like behavior that is associated with the people that are involved in Flat Earth.
Yeah, as I said earlier, like you can definitely call it cult-like. There's definitely cult-like behaviors when it comes to it, like especially like some of the things. Like I was a little bit surprised that it got such a high score for emotional control, because emotional control is something that is quite big for cults, right? And that nearly scored half under emotional control. And I'm actually surprised that it got higher thought control over emotional control. But that's to be expected when you've got things like reject rational analysis, critical thinking, and doubt. You know.
Yeah.
When it came to now, I'm gonna tally up the things for Nathan's group because that's gonna be definitely higher. So 1, 2, 3 for behavior control. So that's 3 out of 10. Emotional control. Oh no, information control is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. 6, so 6.5 out of, I think that was 9. Was it 8 or 9? Yeah, out of 9. And thought control got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 9. 5 out of 9. And emotional control got a 1, 2, 3, 4.25. 4.25 out of 8. Oh wait, the thought control was out of 8 as well. Don't worry, I can count most of the time. I'm not turning into a flurf.
Yeah.
So that's 3, 8, 8 plus. That's 14.5. 18.75. So 8. If I just plug the numbers in, so 18.75, and we get a 50. That would be a 54% match. So yeah, Nathan's group is definitely more cult-like, and it does meet it does meet your 50% threshold, but it doesn't meet my 80% threshold.
Yeah,
and
I agree with pretty much everything that you said tonight. I guess it does just go on how you define what a cult is, and what the threshold of meeting points to that criteria. But nobody can deny that it's got a lot of cult-like attributes, and if left unchecked, it could go full-blown mega Scientology style cult.
Yeah, like I think that this is also something. Like this is not something that we can say. You can't just go, okay, seeing as it doesn't check all these boxes now, doesn't mean that someday it won't check all these boxes. Like, it's one of them things where it could change and it could start checking more of these boxes, or it could start checking less of these boxes. But you've also got to look at like how it's been in the past as well. Like, if it's like if it like it's one of the things where we could say, oh well, in the last 5 minutes they haven't shunned someone who disbelieved. That doesn't mean that they haven't done it in the past. And it is, well, how many people have disbelieved recently? So, you know. And
let's both agree on one thing though. Flat earthers are fucking idiots.
Well, yeah, we never disagreed on that. So yeah.
I don't think anyone apart from flat earthers disagree with that.
Yeah.
Paul Lovett, no, Gary Webenebunanga is far too scared to actually debate me. He runs like the coward that he clearly is. Says that I misrepresent him when his exact words were, the sun does not sink, it slants forward. That's not misrepresenting you, and I honestly don't think you know what a straw man is.
Oh yeah, everyone's, I think it's Shift D that I've got to type. There we go. Because everyone was dinging, so when I press Shift D, I've got it on. I've got a hotkey, but I press. So, at least, you know, one of the things that I like is when things actually wrap up nicely. Because one of the problems with flat Earth debates, or quote unquote debates, is that they don't. No one agrees on anything at the end.
No.
And it surprises me. Like, I think I had a debate with Channel Q, right? And there was this time when she actually agreed, and I was like, wait, she agreed. Like, where do we go from here? I never. It's unusual when people agree with you. Except
I had a guy on the other night with team. And I gave my evidence, and then his response was, "Yeah, that seems right, actually." I was like, "Oh, wait,
yeah." So yeah,
just argue with me.
Yeah. So I think that the conclusion that we can take away from this debate is that, well, my conclusion. So we can go to ending statements now. My conclusion is that my conclusion is that things that happen, or my conclusion is that there are definitely cult-like attributes to Flat Earth. Flat Earth itself may not be a cult, but it can definitely have cult-like attributes, and definitely show these cult-like attributes when someone is being shunned. Like, pointed out that this is not okay, right? And it's like the people that should be doing this the most, I think, are other flat earthers, right? Because if you don't say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, then that's what's going to happen. And it's like, one person said that I should do this for the Globe Earth side, and I'll probably make a video about it, going through this, and I'll try and be as honest as possible. Like, if there is something that I think, if there's something that I think that we do, then I'll be like, yeah, I think that we do it. Now, does that mean that we're a cult? Well, if we tick enough of the boxes, yeah, but I don't think that we tick more boxes than...
Not in the slightest.
Yeah, like when it comes to encourage you to spy and report on others' misconduct, I don't think that we do that at all.
No.
And when it comes to promote dependence and obedience, like, we actually, in a way, we promote thinking for yourself. Like, if you want to be a flat earther, then that's fine, as long as you've got rational. Rationale for it, you know? And I've actually met some flat earthers who I respected. Like,
Sure, not me.
Unfortunately, like, a couple of them are no longer flat earthers, because it seems that the ones that I respect, like, I was going to be like, with Seek Truth, Speak Truth, before he said that he no longer believes the earth is flat, I actually respected him. And then he said that he believes that the Earth is flat. I'm like, can there just be one flat Earther that I respect that won't either screw over their respect for me? Like I used to respect Sleepy Warrior, but I no longer do.
Oh god, no one can fucking respect that lying sack of wind. And I mean, it's wrong. I have met a few flat earthers that I have some respect for. Like Kifu came on, was intellectually honest in his conversation. Raichi, it was a decent conversation I had with her. Most of them are fucking horrific people.
When it comes to, I used to respect flat out Hero until he did pull that stunt with the 100K.
Yeah, and you know, last time I was supposed to have him on debate a few weeks ago, and about 2 hours before the debate, he's just sent me a message saying, "Hey, can I borrow some money?"
Wait, what?
Yeah. I'm not lying. He literally is like, I need $75, man. I'm desperate. I'm like, no. And then he didn't message me back anymore. I'm like,
that's weird.
He really needs to pay his meth dealer, I guess. I mean,
but yeah, like when it comes to things like what's something like information control, and still black versus white, us versus them, good versus evil thinking. I don't think we do. Like there may be a little bit of it, but I don't think that there's enough to warrant that. But it could be that I am biased as well. So I think it would be.
I think everyone has a bias of some kind, but you know, we don't let biases get in the way of facts. That's the difference between us and flat earthers.
I'm just trying to think of something that we might actually. I'm just trying to think which one of these we do actually fit, because I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I don't think that we fit any of them. Not at all.
Yeah. No, I can't think of any, like, if I'm being honest, I can't think of any. Like, the closest thing that I'd actually say would be...
maybe down in emotional control, shun you if you disobey or disbelieve. Not the disobey part, but if you start believing the Earth's flat, you're going to get ridiculed because you're a fucking idiot.
Actually, I think I can actually give a point to us for teach that there is no happiness or peace outside the group, because... as we've said, like flat earthers often are miserable. Like, so I think we can. I think we can tick that. But apart from that, like I can't think of any other ones that would fit.
No. For me, the whole thing, like I say that flat Earth's a cult because of how it can destroy lives. Yeah, it doesn't fit all of the criteria.
Yep.
Some flat earthers will fit more of the criteria than others. Some groups will fit more of it than others. But I think there is enough cult-like aspects of Flat Earth to say that it is a cult. And I think I've explained enough tonight of why I say it's a cult. Whether you agree with me or not is fine. I'm not an expert in cults. I might be wrong in my interpretation of some of the aspects of it, but that's how I feel.
I think
but someone did just send me live footage of Gary when asked for a debate on Flat Earth.
Yeah. I'm actually going to bring up Radical's thing, because he sent me something. I think of his. So he says, Gary Wabinga educated us on the sun not sinking. It actually slants forward. And he says, I think this says it. He says, I think this says it all when he puts an image of me being like, what?
What the fuck?
But yeah. Yeah, so back to the subject. Yeah, I'd actually agree, but I think that it's more important to point, rather than just calling it a cult, because it's good to not let the word cult lose its meaning, I think. And I think that's important when we come to discussing cults, because then if we say if we say, oh, this is a cult, this is a cult, this is a cult, without giving it too much thought, then the word cult starts to lose meaning.
Yeah. I just think that enough of the criteria are met, personally, for me to say it's a cult.
I personally don't. Like, I think it needs... I could probably go down from 80% to like 75%. I think that it's also... like I do like the way that Telltale put it. I think his criteria for calling something a cult, he uses the Fibonacci sequence to give values. So essentially it would be on a scale of 1 to 5 how much he thinks. And if it's a 5, then he uses the 5th number in the Fibonacci sequence, unless you're omitting the double ones at the start, obviously. So if it's a 1, then it gets a 1. If it's a 2, then it would get a 2. If it's a 3, then it would get a 3. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that's not... like 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. No, I'm pretty sure like it goes higher than 8. I think... I'm not sure exactly how he does it. I'd have to go back and watch. It's been a while since I watched some of his videos. But yeah. But he does a great way of analysing it. And he analyses Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff. So that's why I think, because I think that there are definitely groups that are far more cult-like than Flat Earth. And those, like Heaven's Gate, and there's even a cult in New Zealand. I should actually go ahead and analyse this one. Have you heard of Gloria Vale?
No.
Okay, that's like a full-blown cult in New Zealand, and there's been a few documentaries done on it. And essentially, every woman there has like 10 kids or something. Because she's bound to her husband or something, and they're not allowed to use contraception and all that kind of stuff. You're muted by the looks of it.
Sorry, 10 kids, that sounds like hell.
Yeah, I was around at someone's place recently, and they had like 1 kid. I was like, this is too much to deal with. And I'm not even the kid's parent.
I love my kids, but my god, 10, fuck that shit.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll go. Do you have anything else to say about it, or?
No, I enjoyed the discussion, and I agree with you on some points. I disagree with you slightly on others. Like I said, I don't think either of us can disagree with the fact that there's definitely cult-like attributes to Flat Earth. And more importantly, we can definitely agree that all Flat Earthers are fucking idiots. Yeah.
I do. There is a super chat that came in from the Snark for €2 saying, "Good night, FTFE, Planarwalk, and all others." And good night, the Stark.
For more of me, come to Team Skeptics channel in probably about an hour-ish, where we're going to have Flat Earth Aussie Jesus on to teach us the wisdom of the universe.
Okay. And is there any question? Cygnus STSP says, "Very cool show, guys. Thank you." And thank you for showing up, and thank you for the super chat as well. Like, it's always appreciated. I do want to actually say something. Luke Skywalker said, "Genetically modified skeptic knows a lot about cults." Now, do you want to know who actually inspired me to make a video about whether Flat Earth was a cult or not?
Genetically modified skeptic?
Yeah. He actually told me that I should do it. No joke, I was in a voice chat with him and he said, "Oh yeah, you should definitely do it. You should definitely make a video on it." And so I was like, yeah, I'll make a video. It took me a while to get around to it because I was like... Because I do know that it's one of them things which... like, there's certain messages that I have kind of put off on my channel because I wanted to wait until I had more people watching so I could get it to a larger audience.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, Radical is saying Gary just proved me wrong.
Gary's never proven anyone wrong in his life.
No, he's saying that he proves me wrong on the point of Flat Earth isn't a cult.
Oh, no, yeah, Gary's definitely proving you wrong in there.
Gary says, then you guys are a cult because you repeat the same shit over and over again. I repeat them because the truth doesn't change.
Wow! I mean, that's the most ass-backward thinking I've ever heard.
True. But yeah. If there's no other questions, then if there's no questions for me or FTFE, then I will be ending the stream in like 5 minutes. But yeah, so Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe said larger cult audience, and no, it's because I want to be able, like when it comes to messages, like I've got certain messages that I want to, I obviously want people to hear, and that's why, like a lot of people will criticize me for wanting a bigger audience, but it's like I've got messages that I want to get out to people. And that's part of the reason for me sometimes focusing on things that, like, when I debunk flat earthers, like, I'm not adding anything new to the table. I'll be saying, like, generally it's for entertainment purposes, and I know that people enjoy it. But there are definitely other more important messages that I want to get out there because I feel like I might have interesting takes on them. I can't think. There's things like 1080 is a good one, where a lot of people are against 1080. Even Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe is against 1080. Yeah, Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe is against 1080, and I think that it is useful in places like New Zealand. I wouldn't recommend it in places like America, where they do have a lot of mammals, but I wouldn't. But I would recommend it in New Zealand, where we don't have a lot of native mammals. Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe asks, are sports fans members of cults too? I don't think so. I think that... I think that they definitely do have cult-like behaviours. They're definitely not as much of a cult like as Flat Earthers, because, like... I mean, like, what... Like, when it comes to sports fans, like, yeah, sure, they may exploit you financially, or at least some of the sports companies may do that. When it comes to... actually, they do control clothing in a way. Like, they do get some points that Flat Earth doesn't get.
And shun you, and, like, guilt and stuff. Maybe sports fans meet a lot of the criteria of being cults.
Yeah. And it also depends...
Allow any positive thoughts.
Yeah, use excessive meditation, singing, prayer, and chanting to block thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd actually say that they do fit a lot of the things of cults. Like, I'd say that in information control, they may not get that, because like, they don't really forbid you from speaking with ex-members and critics. But yeah, they would definitely fit... like, they definitely wouldn't fit things like promote dependence and obedience, and they wouldn't promote modify behavior with rewards and punishments. But there are some other things that they do fit. So, you know, that was a good question though. Like,
yeah.
82 production says, by work week I meant pay period. Planarwalk, how does the 1080 pay period affect animals? And well, I haven't heard of the 1080 pay period. Like, 1080, when I talk about 1080, I'm referring to a particular poison.
Right.
And...
Oh.
When it comes to poison, yeah, like, it is dangerous to mammals, but I don't think that it's very dangerous to animals. So, any more questions? If not, then I'll head to the outro. I think Flat Earth Aussie Roscoe disagrees with some of my analysis, but I'd have to go through it step by step. But it would be a very interesting thing to go through. Alright, and I don't think that there's... Okay, A22 said, well, some would say that jobs are poison. And I'd agree, some would. And... yeah, like, someone said 10A is particularly controversial pesticide commonly used in airdrops to control pest populations in national parks, etc. Yeah, like, that's basically what it is. And because I don't think it has any cure, and that's why it's so controversial. But, you know, it's one of them things which I would support its use because it's better. I would support its use in New Zealand, not necessarily other countries. But I don't want to go into a discussion on that now because I'm about to finish up the stream. And that would be a long discussion, and I don't have time for that. But anyway... to the, oh, wait, that's the wrong one. To the outro. Alright. Thank you, everyone, for coming along. It was certainly fun. Best debate I've ever had. Because...
awesome.
Because there wasn't any shouting. Sure, there have been debates that I've had that don't devolve into shouting, but for this one, it was... we actually reached a satisfying conclusion, I think.
I agree.
And before we head off, FTFE, is there anything you want to shill?
Well, tonight, come back on to 15 Skeptics channel for Aussie Roscoe, which is always fun. And then tomorrow on my channel, there's PhD Tony versus Spurs.
Okay. That sounds like it could be pretty fun. On my channel, and after this, I'm going to actually get to work on it, and that is I will be going through that documentary that Eric Dubé made, and he called it the best Flat Earth documentary. I'll probably dispute that. It's 6 hours long. I'm going to have to cut it up into parts. I cannot deal... like, first off, I haven't even watched it yet. I've clicked through parts of it. It might just be like a compilation of all his videos. Like, that's what I'm suspecting at this point. But I haven't responded to all his videos yet, so I'm gonna go through it. See what I think of it. If it starts reminding me, I'll be like, hold up, I've seen this particular video of his. I responded to this one before. But apart from that... oh yeah. Be sure to join us on the 24th. Depending where you are, 24th, 25th of August, where we will actually... I'll be doing a new show, and it will be called Rush of Stupid. And we are going to have special guest on Simon Dan. So that'll be something to look forward to, and that's in 3 weeks. So I need to work out what I'm going to do in the next 2 weeks before then. But yeah, that's what I've got coming up. So, I will see all you in the next stream. Between you and me, thank you for watching. Blibbo.